anything. And the reason why I say I cannot hear anything is simple. We all know that under the NPP, in 2020, you brought a bill to this house, ostensibly to revise the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, the existing law then. Mr. Speaker, in the process, you enacted an office, which is the office of the Minister for National Security. And you enacted the office and therefore impliedly made it a permanent existence.
Abusiyemo bibia akwaba ene yenko parliament kakra ene okopie ngo parliamenta na chese eye national security ho asem na omo discuss ye nyina yenim de ekoso terrorist anase terrorism ekoso ewo Burkina Faso yankasa yedwadifo a omo okwa attack omo abusunya eno na atrega ama ene parliament okopie ho no ma. In fact, the National Security Minister Yewra Mutaka, I think say Mutaka, any nkrofo ekum etimi akotrega amomo debate wo ho na owura ye frɛ no Mahama Yarga majority leader oni Afenyo Markin also a minority leader aklash on this issue na dafiamako enso so ekansem bi enam so ema ne tregae ochiremu a Afenyo Markin se ye discuss bibia ana se omo discuss bibi wo parliamenta ono no se aya ontie o se ye den na eko ebe wi achi na wasan akofa issue na omo discuss awie no na wasan dia beto no. I don't know ensem de ebi happen wo no na mesra so benya abotere wa jimbre na yetie parliamentary proceedings ene anyene nyina. But maybe a home nation ehia pa the very important section and I say the very important area hono no and I'm share that a kati yesembe di bramo na mo so matie de ekoso bi e Ghana ye mrashi bi dwafi nti meso so do comment betum bombra ye kwakuti ensem no na wa like this particular very video na wa share na foforo enye biahwe sense hanom story means your number one authentic platform ba na Ghana nsem politics dia mega maji akondwa se bi de bebramu abre na brain na yenti nseni bi akoba ke yeto so pepepe edi amam.
On this bill, the Speaker, Honorable Nitiwu took us through some issues, and my colleague who just debated further highlighted some points I have here, and I would not repeat all of the points they've already argued. But Mr. Speaker, it is important to underscore one fundamental issue, that the memorandum before us does not provide any empirical evidence to suggest that Act 1030 has failed. Mr. Speaker, it appears that this bill is more founded on partisan political interest than a national security interest for good governance. Mr. Speaker, without doubting the competence of my own senior Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, I think that he's been overburdened handling Interior Ministry alone, with all the agencies there too. Can take away all his energy. Then he has a further oversight responsibility as National Security Minister. Mr. Speaker, is he a National Security Minister responsible for the security of the state, or he's just there for the mere presence? Is he dormant or is active? To what extent is he in charge of those responsibilities as a national security minister? Mr. Speaker, I think that our democracy has come of age. We as the political actors must begin to move away from those parochial approach to governance. You are in power today, so you see everything expedient with changing certain fundamental principles, because as I overheard somebody saying somewhere, we are in power. Mr. Speaker, it is not enough to say you are in power. So you will change the architecture of the security of the state, even when it is not going to help the country. Mr. Speaker, we have a national security coordinator who is not going to be responsible to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I recall that in the enactment process for Act 1030, the key argument by the then opposition, the minority in this house, was to the effect that bringing in a minister responsible for national security to be appointed as a bona fide minister for that infrastructure, that institution of national security, would help with that interface between the people and government. And Parliament can summon such minister to answer questions and explain matters. Mr. Speaker, it is the reason why Parliament itself, in its new rules, created a new committee for intelligence, the Security and Intelligence Committee. And Mr. Speaker, we even went further to say that to be a member of that committee, you must take an oath because of what may come to you, so that members of that committee will not be one of those committees that you are walking in and acting partisan, because you are going to receive sensitive information, sensitive intel that may affect the nation if you disclose. So we created an architecture where the minister will report to Parliament, work with our committee, and then ensure a seamless relationship. Mr. Speaker, what this bill is doing is to do away with all the gains we have achieved the last 4 years. And by the way, the coordinator, how is he to be appointed? We are not referring it to Article 195 of the Constitution. So the president would just appoint anybody, sit there, you are my coordinator. When even ministerial appointment, the Constitution provides that that minister must come through Parliament. And in Parliament, there are enactments like OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The Special Prosecutor comes to vetting. Parliament vets the Special Prosecutor. Why would it be that the coordinator, National Security Coordinator, will be a law to himself and will be a lord who is not answerable to anybody? And we are starting it right from here. If we create ambiguity in enactment.
Minority Leader, the minister is on his
Very
feet.
well.
Let me recognize him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to catch my colleague, the Minority Leader, on point of order to say that he is misleading this House, because we've operated from Act 526, like earlier mentioned, for 24 years, and equally operated under 1030 for 4 years, so that's 28 years. And both 526 and 1030, the coordinator is appointed under Article 195. So this argument that you are making is, with a greater respect to you, something that we've been practicing. And then the issue about if somebody is responsible for national security will enroll or derail all the gains that have been made. since we started a year and some few months now, I have been designated as a minister. I've responsibly been in this house to answer questions. I've gone to committee to give briefing. I've done everything this house has ever wanted any minister of security to do. Yet, I've just been given only an oversight responsibility. So it's not something that is new or something extraordinary that is going to weaken Parliament. If you care to know, look at the committee's report. I don't know whether you've taken time to go through. You will have seen that in the committee's report, there's even a new addition about how this house could place an oversight on the security and intelligence sector. So, please, Mr. Speaker, I think my colleague should straight to whatever contribution that is made, but it doesn't create an impression or mislead the House as if something untoward is now coming. What we are coming to do is not much different from what has existed in the past. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, before I go on with my submission, let me register this protest. Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for the Honorable Minister, who has his own opinion on this matter, to smuggle it in under point of order. He has an opinion. He should state it when the time comes. When we are done, he as a minister has every right, unfettered, to make his point known. And any point of disagreement with my submissions, that will be the right opportunity to do so. I mean, at least, let's be fair with each other. Mr. Speaker, my point here is that in the existing dispensation, we created that national security architecture and made it a ministry. Under Act 1030, a ministry was created, and the minister was made responsible for that sector, who was to report to Parliament, just to ensure that there's a seamless relationship with Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this new enactment, what is being proposed, so much power is being given to the coordinator. It is not clear how his powers are going to be fettered. And Mr. Speaker, my submission is that if you give such powers to the coordinator and you do not provide for a clear path of responsibility, accountability, and oversight, it becomes problematic to you yourself as a government. And when the rights of citizens are being abused, the man will come and tell you that in the name of national security, it is because I am relying on intelligence. Mr. Speaker, but if we bring clarity to the issue, Mr. Speaker, it becomes difficult for such people to, Mr. Speaker, as it were, take advantage of the law to abuse the rights of citizens. Mr. Speaker, if you go through the memorandum of understanding, it does not also explain how the so-called duplication concerns with the existing institution will be addressed in practice beyond the general coordination language. There's no explanation. If you go through clause by clause, they have not addressed the issue of duplication. So what duplication are you addressing? Mr. Speaker, if you go through the bill again, it is clear that the measurable gaps in coordination that are supposed to be documented are not found. Whatever gaps that, according to the minister, have been identified, Mr. Speaker, it is expected that in this bill we find them. So there are no such documented gaps. You are not telling us that in the existing legislation, these are the gaps you've identified, and therefore you are introducing these new clauses to address them. Nothing like that is said. Mr. Speaker, I am interested in Article 18 rights. No additional protection is introduced to safeguard the rights of citizens when they are violated. Mr. Speaker, we cannot have a bill of this nature when we know that this bill will deal with human rights issues, yet we do not safeguard them. We allow so much ambiguity. Then by the time a citizen goes through the judicial process, he would have lost a whole lot. Mr. Speaker, when we give them the right to the power to even freeze people's accounts, freeze assets, and we do not provide for a procedure that would allow the right thing to be done. We heard about what happened to the former governor of Central Bank. We heard what happened. Somebody goes to his house and says that I had a court order. And later when we're asking for the court order, we all know the ex parte application, Mr. Speaker. We shouldn't wait to get into opposition before we find everything wrong with the law. The National Security Minister or the minister responsible for national security who is sponsoring this bill must safeguard the right of citizens. It's their right, far right. We know what is happening. In the name of national security, rights are abused, and at this point, as the people's representatives, we are enacting the law and we do not want to put in these safeguards. It will come back and haunt us. I believe that at the right time, during consideration, we'll look at it. But it is important that I bring this to the attention of the minister and my respected colleague, the chair of the committee, so that we fully tackle this. The provisions in there are insufficient. I respectfully submit. Mr. Speaker, I am also concerned about the oversight mechanisms in this new law. Mr. Speaker, this framework doesn't appear to strengthen oversight mechanisms. And here I talk about Parliament. The Committee of Intelligence and Security is not given a clear, defined role in ensuring proper oversight. Mr. Speaker, not too long ago, we heard about the Attorney General in a public interview talking about some operational funds and how that operational funds has become a matter of some litigation in court. Mr. Speaker, don't we think as a house that this is the time to at least strengthen Parliament oversight on some of these matters, so that the committee whose members have taken an oath can interrogate some of these things, bearing in mind the essence of time, because Honorable Niti will argue that issue, that much as we want to put in place some measures, we should also ensure that we don't delay the release of funds for operations. The system that we put in place must be said that we balance oversight with prudence when it comes to operations. Honorable Minister, that in my view is also missing. Mr. Speaker, let us look at Article 21, 23 conjointively with 18. Mr. Speaker, 23 and 21 are very, very fundamental. We are dealing with issues of administrative justice. How sure are we that this bill will not give the security agencies that continued unfettered right to be using ex parte applications in the name of national security to continue to abuse the rights of citizens, especially those who do not have the means to employ lawyers to defend them? Mr. Speaker, many of our citizens are poor and cannot afford legal representation. For these citizens they must be in our contemplation at an important juncture like this whilst we are enacting this law. If we don't bring clarity in this, Mr. Speaker, we'll be creating problem for the many who may not have the means to get high-class legal representation. And what happens to them? They will go to the BNI and then they will be told that, oh, you write this statement and just have your bail. They will write the next moment, they go to court and they tell them that, my lord, he said he admitted to the offense and he's guilty as pleaded. He doesn't have a lawyer. The next moment, he's in jail. There are many more of such cases. Mr. Speaker, I am a practitioner in our court and I know many situations that people don't know about their own rights, and our security agencies have relied on laws to deny them leader. Their rights.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, the minority leader is a senior member of this House, and he knows that he cannot depart from the terms of the report and move into anticipation. Order 1251 is clearly in breach of Order 1251. He can't do that. He's anticipating what will happen tomorrow, what will happen the day after tomorrow. You can't do that. No. The law, there are rules forbid anticipation. You can't be arguing in anticipation in respect of a report, the terms of which are very clear before you. You can't be arguing in a preemptive manner, anticipating that this will happen, and that will happen, and that will also happen. Mr. Speaker, he's a senior member, he's a leader. We learn from him. He's a leader. He should stay within the terms of the report.
Honorable Leader, take note of the observation and also take note of the fact that clause 29 to 31 is a repetition of Act 1030.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, to the extent that my colleague suggests to this House that I am going outside of the issue before us, Mr. Speaker, I would like to respond for Hansa to also capture same. Mr. Speaker, I strongly disagree with him. At this stage of the lawmaking process is where all issues and concerns are expressed. The matter I raise has to do with what happens in our court. And I am saying that I have witnessed situations where rights are abused because such citizens who came into contact with the security agencies in one way or the other did not have to have access to representation. Mr. Speaker, as a result of that, they suffer some injustice. All I'm saying is that if we are enacting, it is important that we bring clarity and safeguard the rights of citizens. We should provide for these so that the security agencies, as part of their own administrative duties, will be guided. Mr. Speaker, until we ensure that citizens were not detained beyond 48 hours, until all of us spoke about it, that this is enshrined in the Constitution, there were times that citizens were detained by security agencies beyond 48 hours. But Mr. Speaker, because the law is clear and unambiguous, such abuses have limited. Even so, such abuses have not stopped. Mr. Speaker, I would want to say that the over-concentration of power in the appointment process without Parliament having the opportunity to vet is a matter of serious concern that this House must look at even as we go into the consideration stage. Mr. Speaker, two, I have have also identified a weak accountability mechanism. It is largely dominated by the executive oversight rather than parliamentary oversight. And I've stated that, and I will not repeat it. Mr. Speaker, I also acknowledge the fact that there must be some level of secrecy. I agree, national security issues must not be made public. However, I need to repeat for the record that to the extent that Parliament itself in its wisdom has enacted its regulation that creates a new committee responsible for national security, Mr. Speaker, there must be unfettered disclosure to the extent that members on that committee, Mr. Speaker, have taken oath. Mr. Speaker, looking at this enactment, it appears again that there is some broad, rather loosely framed, intrusive powers and weak warrant regime. Mr. Speaker, I would delve deep into this when we get into the consideration stage. I've already emphasized what happened not too long ago with this warrant for search and all of that. Mr. Speaker, this law does not address it fully. And it appears that, Mr. Speaker, what we are seeking to do is to create a much more intrusive institution. We are allowing a new warrant regime, complicating matters, and this would further affect citizens, especially political witch hunting. Mr. Speaker, we should also be mindful of the politicization of the regional and district security councils. Those regional security coordinators and the district security coordinators, if you go through the enactment, we do not define their essential qualification for appointment. Are they going to be party members who would be given job for the boys? So you are a district security coordinator or regional security coordinator. When they see somebody's cassava in a pickup, they go and chase you. They say, for national security reason, we stopped you. When they see that there is a car going, somebody has bought his new car, they will chase you and come and say, where did you get money to buy this new car? Mr. Speaker, I say some of these things from experience. Just about a month ago, my own pickup was chased by a so-called regional security coordinator and arrested the driver and said that, he has information from national security. Meanwhile, it was not true. When he realized that the car was mine, he said, sorry. Meanwhile, he had arrested the guy, frustrated him, and I don't want to say he extorted money from him for not having a registered car. Mr. Speaker, if such a person was a professional and by enactment he has gone through the vetting process of appointment and knows what he is supposed to do, Mr. Speaker, he won't do such a thing. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill must also look at it carefully and not just think that because you need to have certain positions filled, anybody at all should be there. Mr. Speaker, I shall conclude by saying that this bill does not reform the security architecture of our country. It rather entrenches it and worsens it. Mr. Speaker, the bill preserves the old problematic architecture without substantive reform, carrying over existing appointment and practices. For these reasons, Mr. Speaker, I believe that though the committee has done a good work at consideration, there will be the need for the minister to sit with us as a house, do further winnowing, and incorporate the major concerns raised by the minority on this floor, so that, Mr. Speaker, in the end, we would have a bill that is citizenry friendly, a bill that ensures transparency, a bill that allows Parliament to scrutinize and properly oversight the work of the security architecture of our country. Mr. Speaker, that said, I shall resume my seat without more. Thank you.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, you know, in private practice, the way that you get to increase your fees is to speak copiously in court. Even if you say nothing, just speak copiously in court. Because after the clients, when they finish, they say,
My lawyer spoke.
the way my lawyer cannot. Did you see the way my lawyer was talking? But other lawyers in the courtroom know that he said nothing. And I'm saying this because I have listened to all that my friends on the other side have said, and I cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. And the reason why I say I cannot hear anything is simple. We all know that under the NPP, in 2020, you brought a bill to this house, ostensibly to revise the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, the existing law then. Mr. Speaker, in the process, you enacted an office, which is the office of the Minister for National Security. And you enacted the office and therefore impliedly made it a permanent existence. Mr. Speaker, even the Constitution shies away from enacting ministerial portfolios. Apart from the Attorney General, no minister is enacted by legislation. Ministries are created by executive instruments, and then that necessitates the appointment of a minister to be responsible for that ministry. Mr. Speaker, by enacting the office of a Minister of National Security, you are tying the hands of every president so that he must appoint a Minister for National Security. Mr. Speaker, in the process, you had unwieldy size of government. How many ministers did they have? 125 ministers.
Look at the bill.
125 ministers and deputy ministers. For a small country like this, when a country like Australia with a bigger economy has just about 30 ministers. Mr. Speaker, the NDC promised that when we come to office, we will downsize. We will cut down the number of ministers. So when we came into office, we indeed cut down the number of ministers.
The decision to amend this.
And among the ministries that we decided to guillotine was the Minister for National Security. And then the issue arose in this chamber. The Right Honorable Speaker, Alban Sumana Bagwin, raised it in this chamber that there is a legal problem. There is an act that enacts the office of National Security Minister. So we cannot appoint ministers and there will be no Minister for National Security. So the fundamental thing about this bill is to revise the existing legislation and take out the imposition of a Minister for National Security.
On the president.
That is the fundamental objective of this bill. Take the bill and go through it properly. And you will see that all that the bill is seeking to do is to abolish the office of Minister for National Security and the functions assigned to the Minister for National Security and the establishment of the Inter-Ministerial Council for National Security. Because all these three main items, they are not. Mr. Speaker, so that's the idea that we are pursuing, which is taking out the office of Minister for National Security. Mr. Speaker, if we do that, we will essentially be reverting to the legislation that existed before Act 1030 was enacted. That is the fundamental objective. Of course, in the process, advantage has been taken of the proposal before this House to also add a few things, revise a few things, based on the experience that we have obtained working these two legislations. So, Mr. Speaker, I am surprised that the impression is created that there's something wrong being done, and then we don't know what we're about, and the bill is inadequate, and there's nothing wrong. There's everything wrong with enacting an office of National Security Minister. We have a Minister for Health. It is not enacted. We have a Minister for Education. It is not enacted. We have a Minister for Roads and Transport. It is not enacted. Those ministers are not enacted. It's the ministries that are enacted. And it is the agencies under the ministry that are enacted. So you have highways, you have urban roads, you have all these agencies, Ghana Health Service, you have Ghana Education Service, you have all of them agencies under the ministries enacted. But the ministry itself is simply created by an executive instrument because presidents can decide to realign and change it. They don't need to come to Parliament to realign. But what you did here is to force the hand of a president so that he must appoint a Minister for National Security. It was a wrong thing for us to have done as a Parliament.
But they did it.
Well, we're all in the Parliament. They proposed it, but we're here and we voted. So I'm saying that it was a wrong thing for us to have done. And this historical wrong has to be corrected. And that's what we are doing today. We are correcting the wrongs of the NPP government. We are cutting down the number of ministers. We don't believe in large-sized governments. Large-sized government wastes public money. The taxpayer must get value for money. That is the object of this bill. Nothing more. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Director General of Intelligence, as indicated by Honorable Kabiru, I tried very much to understand where he was coming from and where he was going. But I know that all the acts, all that the bill seeks to do is to just redesignate it as Director General for Internal Security and Director General for External Security. And Internal Security is the BNI, and then the External Security is Research Department, and they already have directors. They have directors. If you just redesignate the titles to fit what modern nomenclature is, I don't see anything fundamental about that. Why we should be splitting hairs about just redesignating titles of offices that already exist. We are not creating the offices. Mr. Speaker, when you go to the issue of coordinator, yes, coordinators have existed from the beginning as a matter of practice. Then when the first legislation was being passed to govern national security, it was enacted. All subsequent legislation have kept the the coordinator of national security. Functions basically the same. Now, you cannot say that we are creating a coordinator who is politically unaccountable. That is obviously not true. We know the normal accountability mechanisms under our constitution. First and foremost, we can hold the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act through the process of budgeting for them. Their budget is approved by this House. They bring the budget document proposals here, we approve it. Every money they spend, we approve it. And the committee can always invite the minister responsible for national security to come and answer questions. And the honorable minister kept repeating that. He's been coming here to answer questions. Beyond that, he's been appearing before the Committee of Parliament to provide briefings on security matters anytime that he has been invited. Nothing is going to be sacrificed when it comes to political accountability of the security and intelligence agencies. So I don't know where the argument is coming from, that we are about to compromise the human rights of citizens, that they will no longer be politically accountable. Under what arrangement? Because the existing arrangement clearly in the last 1 year and 2 months have worked in such a way that no political accountability has been compromised. So I think that that argument also falls flat on its face. The argument about the warrants and freezing powers and etc., they've always existed. In your own legislation which we passed in this House, Act 1030, there were the same provisions. Nothing really fundamental, except a proposal that sometimes by the time you go and apply for a warrant to freeze an account, it takes a second to move the money from that account. It takes seconds to move the money from that account. It just takes the click of a button, because everything is electronic. Somebody can actually just use his or her cell phone and transfer and wire all his or her money. That's where banking has reached now. So when a security intelligence agency is interrogating a suspect and begins to suspect that they have monies in an account, by the time they go to the court and apply for a warrant and they apply for a freezing authority, the account is drained. Money is transferred. And so there is a suggestion that at a certain level in the leadership of the intelligence agencies, they should be able to authorize such actions and then within a week go to court for court to confirm it or to set it aside.
In the West, the same provisions in the West.
We have the same thing in the Office of Special Prosecutors Act. So why grant the Office of Special Prosecutor those powers and deny the other intelligence agencies who are also doing investigation to enable prosecution, deny them the same powers? So there's no real threat or danger. As for chasing pickups and etc., we didn't start chasing pickups today.
Yes.
I know colleagues on this side who are ministers of state who were stopped in public and their cars seized from them.
Yes.
It happened.
Under his leadership.
I'm not saying that it is right. I'm not saying that it should be allowed to happen or that it should continue. But my argument is simple. How does that bear on the provisions of this bill? There's no bearing. If you want to complain about your pickup being seized, please complain. But don't use this, second reading as an opportunity to complain about your pickup that was stopped. Why didn't you report to the police? Why are you reporting to us in Parliament? Mr. Speaker, let me thank colleagues for a very spirited debate, but just to indicate that we bring this bill out of necessity. We want to remove all the provisions compelling the establishment of the Office of the Minister for National Security and then maintain what has always existed, which is the President to designate a minister to serve as the minister to exercise oversight over the security and intelligence agencies, and then through that person, this Parliament can hold that whole sector accountable. Mr. Speaker, I think that this is commendable. The report effectively captures the issues. They've considered many things that have been debated. The issue of members of parliament being on district and municipal security committees were considered. I'm a member of the committee, the minority leader is a member of the committee, and very strong arguments were made why we should not have members of parliament sitting in the district and municipal security council. People have different views about that, but I think that as a committee, from what I see in the report, the conclusion is not to encourage a thing like that. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to thank the Minister for moving the motion and the Chairperson for seconding and presenting the report, and urge members to vote adopting this report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
An act to provide for matters relating to the National Security Council, to establish the regional security councils, the district security councils, to specify some of the state agencies responsible for coordinating and implementing government policies on the security of the state and attendant issues on or relating to the internal and external security of Ghana, and to provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Security and Intelligence Agency Bill 2025 is duly read the second time. Yes. Do we move the consequential motion number 25 and bring it to a consideration stage?
Speaker, I believe that we'll do that tomorrow, but we want to take motion number
No, the consideration
21.
stage before I refer it to winnowing.
We'll do motion number 21. Yeah. Speaker.
Motion numbered 25. Minister for Interior. $25.
25. Oh, Chief Whip, Minority Leader.
Well, honourable members, the decision is to refer the bill to winnowing committee at consideration stage. Without moving the procedural motion, we can get to consideration stage where I will refer the bill to winnowing committee. That is the essence of it.
Speaker, with respect, I just need clarity. The applicant prayed the chair for motion 21. That was the application. That's why I want clarification. He said we should move to motion 21. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to be guided.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, yes, I pray, Speaker, that we take motion number 21. But the decision is that the bill will have to be referred to the winnowing committee. And so, motion number 25, in accordance with our rules. So motion number 25 will have to be moved. So, Speaker can give the direction referring the bill to the winnowing committee for consideration and report.
Yes.
Speaker, with respect, I want to be on the same page with the majority chief whip. His application was to the effect that we should take motion 21. And now he has changed his mind and he says that we need to do motion 25 and the motion 25, I do not see the rule upon which he mounts that motion 25. He says that there's a motion 25, and he's mounting his application on some rules of this house. Mr. Speaker, it is important for the Majority Chief Whip to specifically refer to the order in the rules book upon which he mounts his application. We are interested.
Honourable members, with all due respect, if you look at Standing Order 1681, and if I may read, winnowing, that's a head note, where a bill has been read a second time and substantial amendments have been proposed and published on the order paper, the Speaker may refer the proposed amendment for winnowing. And by the order paper, we have a substantial amendment. That is the reason for which I want to refer the bill to winnowing. Yes?
Speaker, I don't have a problem. Mr. Speaker, I don't have a problem with that. I have seen the 25, and I believe that this winnowing must be done because I have some amendments myself that I would want to discuss it at winnowing. But the issue here is the applicant said motion 21, and the impression he created was that motion 21 had a relationship with motion 25. That was the impression I got. That is why I asked that he should clarify. He should clarify.
Speaker.
Yes. Majority Chief Whip.
In all humility, it does appear to me that the minority leader was not paying attention. Because when I prayed you for motion number 21 to be taken, the decision for motion number 25 to be taken was from the chair. So my duty was to be guided. My duty was to be guided. So I had no obligation to mount that application based on the rules. In any case, in invoking order 168 was not necessary. Speaker has already given a direction, so we ought to follow. So if you had paid full attention, you would have realized that the arguments we were making was a journey to nowhere. Speaker has already directed that as a result of the decision that we were referring the bill as it is to the winnowing committee, motion number 25 will have to be moved. And so would it be. So it was absolutely not necessary for you to take the path that you are taking. With all due respect, my leader.
Speaker, the Majority Chief Whip knows that I am a senior in this chamber. So even if he disagrees with me, Mr. Speaker, as you normally entreat us, he should find an amicable way of dealing with such disagreement. But if he says that I wasn't paying attention to now let it be for the records. Mr. Speaker, you see, sometimes when I disagree with you and you draw my attention that there's a better way, we do the right thing and we reconcile. He is our junior. You and I came into this chamber before he came. So you don't disagree with your senior, then you say he didn't pay attention. There are ways of managing your seniors in this house. Mr. Speaker, especially when now he's left alone. His boss has left him, and if he doesn't get the appropriate cooperation, he knows how difficult life would be. So, Mr. Speaker, he's advised.
you can see me for your guidance. You say you need my guidance, and I say you can see me for your guidance. So I will call on the minister to move the motion.
Abusiafo nti ensem no eno no na madiki aka se Afenyo Markin obi a se bia buru se bia nyaado bra na MPP ti so na onfa Ghana mra nya hwe onfa nchemi Afenyo Markin bra na MPP ti so na onfa Ghana emra enya hwe, especially when Madam Gertrude Tokonu Seki Anaba Araba Gertrude Tokonu, former Chief Justice. Eye ya na Afenyo Markin aduru ho. Eye ya hwew na Afenyo Markin aduru ho. Because no nim say omo ban na ewo so and anything emre bia no omo kwa anye bia no mbenya 1-10 and I say 1-9 50 60. In fact, now people could be able to predict the verdict. People could easily predict whatever comes from a year parliament, a year court or moko court. Already a chatting me now quick one mame acknowledge no. I mean acknowledge what you say na yen so. Ndra me the video bi ba ya na aye senyo hosi na mama nyane ntie se enye senyo hosia na mbom a different person nti ura na comment ndo se mega your captions are okay, so okan ya na quickly me buy na me beda na se me be reply no say me dana se papa sorry, well noted please. And on also a buy be catcher me say thanks for acknowledging this. I was expecting an insult like some others. Okay, so you are doing well, but improve on your captions. Okay, so ura nyankopon shira mami hwe ni din no Andy. Okay, and the answer wo hwe me nyankopon shira say we yimi asutri mani eje hon papa and I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So abena baby amohwe yi enyema nkoyi a se bia buru se benyado emfa nhye utirimu enka se video we mean like video we must subscribe and may unsubscribe. And I say my subscribe to this channel and may unsubscribe because mega can't say be mega the news be aba and me I don't see any relevant in this news. And I say mega and 7 no kind no correct. And I say the all caption no misleading abusian for unya sa kind of content in be too honoma. The only thing you can do ebe boy a brand, you know. Ama wonso aye favorable dia ma wa brebia ne say obetwe quickly in the comment section na draw my attention, because sometimes on the adwuma no bi ho no my the mobi na ye video ni wi ane dia mobi chale ye ni se mame uye wa hu ebi oye no mistakenly no na wantimi anye dia wo so eden oye what I say, but me wi na mikita we ni dia na me hwe mistakes e wo mu. What in a mature na se me ye we ni na so caption or say sometimes no anye ye nkwa na ye o one of them o hu, but videos ni de me na mitwa be ba editing we na a very some way bi nti to de bia ayana ya mo bia boy kakra me I know how to do it, me na me bibia, but sometimes no we are so busy na why then we dey mo bi na wa boa kakra. And this is the correct definition of you go explain tire. The reason why I'm saying this is I've seen couple of videos from some other platforms. I want to kono di atem omu nipa na so take creator na so take ana no di atem. But my main case me fa so mega TV me mentesa. Even when you insult me, when I see the insult, I'll find out say unnecessary insult. I may delete your comment now. A unnecessary insulter. Trust me, I am going to delete your comment. But me feel all criticizing me constructively, say na maybe better hand on me na. I will make sure say I will respond to you, whoever you are. Whoever you are, etiano you ni pasem mo. opportunity bi na be platform and I said binyame adom ama mo behwe but ye nipa etese mo a ye mistakes what you say ye mistakes sometimes and you maybe on my ye better no ye kasa bi ye posture bi ye gestures bi enko ye but ye nipa die misda mo hwe me a na se nima bi nko ye just munyi masotiri na me hu na me nka se oh we die manyini ye na se we die bia me explanation bia na me dia to comment section ho na ye fefefe men ka se oh mahu we nti me nhwe mega videos bio mahu we nti me like mega videos bio mahu we nti me unsubscribe baby oh yes I want mo me misro ani die mu ani pa ye magye ehwe wa asase wi so kakra bi ni pa ira uhu bibi na nko ya yima so tiri na mega mendi ho dwuma say correction I will do the correction say I am can say what do quality say kasa I will change it say ahomaso bibia I will stop it mwana mukochi we are like family just because me humo muna de bia mu hume we are all family me say mani humo but me de bia mu hume we are virtual family ye abusuaku a ye wo ntentan ne so ade bia mo hwe me but me na me humo iti momfa me se muni aketwa mo ba mo bra mo nana mo hwan in fact whoever you see me to be just take it me like that you get it eti misro bibi nko ya moma yenya munyi asotire o hwe me from afar na pe videos a acknowledge me bo mabaso ewom me nso me ba ma be reply ehia papa na yenya yetini abroading yo na no me hu bi na so pese ye mfa namfo comment section me try say nka na me reach out be me hu ni bio o peso o ne me kasa straight on WhatsApp come mayi na about wo wura me page ma about me number gu honom just go and pick it and then me Gmail honom just go and pick it chat me trust me we are going to make friends we are going to talk to each other information bia obiano obetimi dia mame I will come here and address it me nyo bia opportunity keke aboyise we he we akwara binyi me kwa bia wo he obetimi awo me ama se bua ho dim biaka but the opportunity ene yenya ene dia betena hanom aye kasa dipa enso eti misro bibi nko ya moma yehu se be ya busua no be ya kese na odo se de woni wo busua foto no ma ade nko ya no wayo mo sutere no yenye ne sa pepepe fato comment section ni that is why ma bi mi comment section ma to day in day out me hwede ekoso me respond na ya yede yakoye ni fefefe akopɔ nhyira enti and some of course our parliament no but I don't know the reason why our national Amukan is defense minister John Mahama president watches her because catch the equal Christmas or say we are new year we are immediately after new year you be a defense minister you didn't year we man take him abusia then they call me in a mum pine infant actually ebiana bibi kitamu na yenye defense minister na yenko because nyama etetin nsi no it is not good, especially what happened at Burkina Faso. It is disgusting. I mean, it wasn't good. Chira waju comment section, Macron, Papa.